So of all the choices, why curly maple for our galley counters?
Because it's on sale and it's pretty. I think it'll work great. It's nice hard wood. It's a hard maple and it'll be fun to do something different.
Counter, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be, we're laminating it to a fiberglass foam core. It's gonna cut into veneers, maybe like 1/8" veneers.
Okay.
Yeah, and then pouring epoxy on it.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. We're in town in Port Townsend at the Northwest Maritime Center, and we're going to be building some galley counters with help from Joel, who's the boat manager here at the Maritime Center. We're looking forward to building some really beautiful galley countertops.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing? Good.
Peachy.
So I've got my counter substrate set up here. This is the Adura panels that I use to make the shape of the countertop. And we're gonna be gluing the wood countertop to the top of these. I'm gonna be building it out of, this is called curly maple. It's a hard maple that was on sale. They just had a bunch of offcuts available at Eden Saw. So we're gonna be milling it down to these very thin planks, something like, it's about 1/8 inch thick planking. And that'll make it so that the countertop is lightweight, but also has a nice hard surface on it. It'll look really pretty. We don't actually know what the design is going to be on the top yet. We're just kind of cut the planks and play around with it, see what we like. Yeah, I'm really excited about working here in this space, using the big tools to mill down the wood. It's gonna be a fun project. One side of these planks has been joined, and so now I'm going to rip a whole bunch of planks through the table saw. First I'm going to make them 2 inches wide, and then I'm going to rip it down to about 1/4 inch thick. So I've got my planks cut down to 2 inch wide, so I'm gonna now rip them down to 1/4 inch wide, so I should get 3 pieces out of each plank. Okay, the next step is planing them down. I've got all the planks cut to shape and to rough thickness, and now we're gonna plane them down to something like 3/16 or 1/8 inch thick. All right, it's day 2 at the Maritime Center. Yesterday I got all the maple milled down to these, they're like 3/16 inch thick planks, and today we get to set up the design on the countertop. We don't know for sure how it's gonna end up, but we have some ideas, so yeah, it's gonna be a fun project today.
So you said that you hadn't decided on a design when you started playing around with the wood planks. How did you arrive at the design you were making? Were you just making it up as you went?
More or less I was making it up as I went. One thing that was really important to, I think, both of us was that the countertop was not too loud. And that's because it's such a huge countertop. When you walk in the boat, it's not the first thing I want people to look at and kind of gawk at.
Would you rather they gawk at your carbon chain plates?
I just want the whole boat to kind of all the interior to kind of work together. Yeah, it was really important that it didn't be too loud. And so that meant keep it simple. We talked about doing a dovetail look and stuff, and I also wanted to make sure that we had enough material, and this was the best use of the material as well. Pretty much just threw it together. All right, I've spent the morning playing around with this and I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty simple, just basically planked. There's the lines of the planks follow the lines of the counter itself, so the planks are in a U shape. One criteria was we didn't want it to be too loud. We considered doing something like a herringbone orientation. I don't know, we think that this is a lot simpler. It won't catch the eye too much, but it'll still be very pretty. Tomorrow we can start working on gluing it all down. So yesterday I got all these laid out and I'm happy with how it looked. Today I get to start gluing them down, and I'm gonna start with, this is gonna be like my, I don't know what you call it. This is the piece that's going to establish the rest of it. And so gonna start here, and we talked about vacuum bagging all these down, but it seemed a little too complicated. And so what I'm gonna use is a little brad nailer, and we're gonna nail them all to the board as we glue them. This is gonna take a while, probably all day, but let's get started. I added some Silica to the epoxy just to make kind of a light slurry. The nails are super tiny, there's no heads on them, but we'll fill them all when we're done, so you can't see them at all.
Where's Daddy going?
yesterday we got all the planks glued down and it's looking pretty good. It's a bit rough still. There's plenty of gaps between the planks and it needs to be sanded really well before we pour the tabletop epoxy on top of it. So what I'm gonna do is take this belt sander and go over the whole thing, and then I'm going to fill any of the gaps with some Total Boat epoxy that's thickened with sawdust so that it hides a lot of these gaps and stuff that I made. So far so good. We've got a long ways to go before it's finished.
You spent many weeks debating what to make these galley counters out of.
I spent like months agonizing over these counters.
Right, that's true. So how did you arrive at this design, the Edura panels with the wood veneer? And what were the other options you considered?
I considered tons of things. I wanted them to be very lightweight, obviously very functional and beautiful. For a long time I was thinking like Richlight or paper stone. And then I even considered like quartz countertops, and then I moved on to doing like a laminate. Most of the time it was because I couldn't find a color that I liked. I was really hot on green for a while, and that turned out I just couldn't find the right green that I liked. Quartz would just seem too heavy. Richlight and paper stone, there weren't the right colors. You know, these Edura panels would be a great substrate, and so we just decided that wood would be probably the most like classic nautical looking. Then I went to Insa and found this curly maple and just figured, you know, this will work.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see how these turn out. So far, I like them a lot.
I think they're going to be very cool, and I agonized far too long about it. I'm also very excited to see how they look. The planks were glued on such that they overlapped the edges of the Edura panel substrate. The next day, after it was all glued down, I went around the counter with a trim router to clean up all those edges. Joel has been a huge help getting me this far and letting me use this space. So we're going to let him to talk about what goes on here at the Maritime Center and what he has to offer.
So it's been really great having the Duracell project in the boat shop. They've been here before, obviously. Utilizing the space for what it was built for. It's more or less a community asset. It's a shop that's available to the public for those that are looking for shop space, a warm place to do some work. We've got a full quiver of power tools, and they're available to the public. We rent space for folks who just need a workbench for small projects. We rent floor space for larger projects. We've had anywhere from little sailing dinghies all the way up to 45-foot open water cruising boats in the shop. Yeah, it's just it's a really cool place to hang out, really cool place to do projects, really cool place to build a countertop. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's always great having these guys here.
The Northwest Maritime Center is in the heart of beautiful Port Townsend, this small maritime community we feel so lucky to live in. In addition to renting space for your own project, you can take a boat building class with Joel and other maritime-related classes. The Northwest Maritime Center is a wonderful nonprofit that we're proud to collaborate with. All right, I'm ready to pour the seal coat over the counter. The counter's all cleaned. I've built a dam all the way around the counter with tape. It's very level. And so in Total Boat's instructions on how to pour the countertop epoxy, the first step is to pour just a seal coat, and I believe that is to fill in any cracks and seal the surface. Once this is cured, then we'll sand it and then pour the real countertop on top of this. So this will be a lot less than the original, than the actual countertop will be. But I'm very excited. I hope it doesn't change the color too much. It should look really cool when it's done. So I'm using Total Boat's tabletop epoxy. This is a 1-to-1 clear coat epoxy. They say that this is a pour depth of up to a 1/4 inch thick. We have a really big surface, so we're gonna be doing something more like 1/8 of an inch. For the surface area that we have, it's almost more than 36 square feet. It's gonna be 3 gallons. So for this first just seal coat that I'm gonna do on top, I'm just gonna make 1 gallon, spread it out, let it cure, come back tomorrow and we can sand. So this is the first time I've ever done this before, so we'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty excited. For larger projects, transfer the combined mixture into another clean mixing cup before pouring. After mixing, you have approximately 40 minutes of working time to pour and spread the mixed epoxy. I just made an executive decision to do just a 1/2 gallon pour instead of a full gallon, like I said earlier. Like it's just a seal coat, so it's just enough to cover the entire surface and seal the porosity, any leaks that are in it. So I'm sure this will be enough.
It's a very relaxing stir you're doing, honey. How long do you stir this for?
Well, it's set in the directions at least 3 minutes, but you're supposed to stir it until it's like not cloudy or like striated, I think is what it said. Mix until all striations are gone and the mixture is clear and uniform.
You nervous?
Slightly, yes.
I'm nervous. It's actually changing the color in a really nice way.
You think so?
I think so, just making it pop a little more. I'm loving the look of our galley counters. Gorgeous. We're gonna prepare so many delicious meals at gorgeous, quiet anchorages on these counters.
That's right.
Do you feel good about the amount? Is it enough?
I think I did too much, actually.
I can't get over how beautiful these counters are looking.
Good. Yeah, I like them too. Got a ways to go yet, but it's getting there. I got a heat gun, and wherever there are bubbles, I'm gonna warm it up a little bit and it should pop the bubbles out of the epoxy. see them popping. It's like you really don't have to hover this thing over the epoxy for very long for them to just like pop out. This works like surprisingly good getting air bubbles out. They just kind of disappear. Take a close look, see if you can see any bubbles.
I am blown away, Matt. These are gorgeous.
It's very, very pretty. When you look at it in the right direction, if you look at it from the wrong direction, it's like, ew.
No, that is not true.
Well, it's just got a lot of... This is why we do the seal coat. So that I can come back, sand this, and then the next coat, that will be perfect. It'll level itself out. Yeah, it should look really good. So.
You are more of a woodworker than you give yourself credit for.
We'll see. This is not done yet.
I'm worried I might drool on it. It's so beautiful. I'm serious. That would be terrible.
It would be terrible.
Oh, I won't drool on it.
Thank you.
I just can't get over how beautiful this galley counter is turning out. I can't wait to see it finished and installed on the boat next week. Please consider giving this video a like and subscribing if you haven't already. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you next week.